After 4 years of working at Aquarium Co-Op, I finally got to visit their retail fish store, which has been a lifelong dream of mine. So did it live up to the hype? I mean, I've been a super fan for many years before I ever worked for them, and I wanted to see, how does Aquarium Co-Op compare to my local fish stores? First impressions from the outside, love the brand new shiny looking sign. I know a lot of fish stores I go to, the signage hasn't been replaced in decades and it looks a little sun faded and aged. Then when I went into the entrance, I immediately noticed a stack of very convenient shopping baskets, which were much cleaner than the ones I've seen at grocery stores. And they were sitting right next to a very well lit, I guess, wooden cabinetry that was kind of beautifully displaying all the fish food and other products in there. Like a lot of times you have products that are sitting on dark shelves, and then this one, I don't know, they kind of embedded the lighting in it very nicely. And then if you keep going left, that's where the giant betta rack is, where they each have their own individual container that's getting water changes through a big sump that's on the bottom. And I liked how each of the individual containers had a black background with substrate and some floating plants in there that looked like kind of a miniature version of what a planted tank would look like at home. And they were actually in the process of changing out the black sand for some more natural looking gravel so that it would do a better job of hiding the betta fish poop. The main section of the store is that really famous long wall of tons of fish tanks sitting on wooden shelves. All of them have sponge filters, live aquarium plants, a nice black background on it so you can easily see the fish in their kind of a more neutral color for them to shine in front of. And then on the bottom, there was different kinds of bags of substrate that you could choose. There was a ton of variety. I would say they mostly focus on small to medium-sized community fish that are also plant friendly. So I saw things like, more popular species like glow light tetras or green neon tetras, as well as some rare species I'd never seen in person before, which was amazing. So if you want to see what my top 5 picks at the store were, I made a video on the Aquarium Co-op channel over here. But I did notice that the fish just looked really colorful, very vibrant and healthy. And I was wondering, well, maybe it's the easy plant LEDs they're using, but Brandon, the store manager, said another trick they have is that they hatch live baby brine shrimp every single day, because sometimes these fish, they can come in from the wholesalers and then through transportation, they're just not doing so well. And the live food really kind of triggers their hunting instincts so that they're wanting to eat more than usual. And then baby brine shrimp, they've got a lot of good healthy proteins and fats in them. So that's why they look so good. All the way in the back of the store is the giant aquarium that holds Murphy the Maboo puffer. It is the world's largest freshwater puffer and our store mascot at Aquarium Co-op. He was very massive and super chill though. So I got to feed him a prawn that was soaked in Vitachem or vitamin supplements, and that's kind of a special treat for him. So he chomped that thing right in half, and then the leftovers, the Siamese algae eater, rummy nose tetras, and other tank mates got to eat for him. On one side of his tank was more racks that you could pick different kinds of hardscape from, and then the other side would be the quarantine room. I didn't take a lot of footage of this room because it was super humid, but Aquarium Co-op does a great job of quarantining all their fish for at least 1 week, and they treat them with the quarantine medication trio. It's just a basically trio of broad spectrum antibiotics, antifungal, and antiparasitic medications to make sure everybody goes out at least a little bit cleaner than they came in before. And what I was really impressed by was in that room, there's a rack of retail store process documents. It's just tons and tons of spiral manuals, I guess you could call them, that the store manager made to make sure that the staff are all trained on how to keep the store neat and tidy, how to gravel vacuum aquariums, how to clean sponge filters, very, very detailed with tons of pictures. So I was super impressed. The last area inside the retail store was kind of behind the check stand. And so the first thing that caught my notice was the frozen fish food freezer. Again, very well lit. It had a glass door so I could clearly see what they had in stock. At the bottom, they stored some baby brine shrimp eggs. I thought that display was very nice looking, as well as right next to it, there was a plant tanks rack where apparently they made special custom stands, I'm not sure what to call them, where there's little slots for you to put plant pots in them so they're exactly straight and in a row, and it looked very clean. There was no like mulm or algae or anything, and I've got an army of algae eaters in there with them to make sure that everything looks peak perfection. Then next to that, there were more tanks selling, I think mostly nanofish and then some kind of very unique oddball fish as well. And then these gorgeous display tanks, which were amazing aquascapes, and one was very small, I can't remember how many gallons it was, and then there's a much larger one, and I thought it did a good job of, you know, when you see something that beautiful as a customer, you get very inspired to want to buy the animals or the plants that are in that aquarium. So great kind of sales display tanks. Maybe I should have titled this video Most Appealing or Tempting Fish Store, because despite the small footprint, I felt like everything was really well thought out and designed to make you just want to buy. Because every tank used the same sponge filter, background, heater, light, all that, it had a very consistent appearance and very, again, well-designed aesthetic that I felt looked so professional. The store itself was designed to be very welcoming. You know, there was a carpeted floor instead of concrete. There was wood furniture. All the products, the fish, the plants were very well lit. And then of course the fish themselves looked extremely healthy because of having gone through the quarantine process, and now they're feeding them live baby brine shrimp. It honestly felt like I was in some kind of high-end designer boutique fish store, but everything was still pretty reasonably priced. Thank you so much to my members for your support. If you're curious what were my top 5 fish at Aquarium Co-op, check out the video over here and take time to enjoy your aquariums. Bye.